Today we're going to go over some pretty entry-level information about MeaningCloud.com. We're going to start at the beginning. If you're watching this, you're probably in the need of some textual analysis of data, or some analysis of textual data, I should say. And that's where MeaningCloud comes in. Today we're going to walk through some simple steps of creating an account, which will activate the services. The account we are creating is a free account. You will not need to enter a credit card before beginning to use it. And we will also load the integration with Office 365, which allows us to do analysis right within Excel itself. So first, I'm going to have you navigate to MeaningCloud.com. So this is the homepage for the website, and you can see we have various information about the solutions offered, the industries that are served, products that we sell. There are a few different demos live on the site that you can interact with and kind of try out the system before you create an account. And there's sort of get started, some quick information about creating an account, text analytics, first steps, etc. When you look at and a little bit about the company, I highly recommend at some point that you explore the blog. There's a lot of great content here to get a little bit more in the weeds. We have several tutorials that are posted to the system that will allow you to see, kind of really kick the tires on the platform and do some analysis of textual data right in the system. But today we're going to show you how to create an account. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you click Get Started or create a free account. I am currently logged in, so I'm going to log out for a moment. You will see this screen where you can sign in with your MeaningCloud credentials, or if you do not have them, you can register now. So I will hit Register Now just to show you what's up with that. And I already have some form complete here, but basically I can create this account by typing in information here, confirming my email, my company, position, telephone, creating a password, and then confirming that I am not a robot, and agreeing with the terms and conditions. They're linked here. Relatively straightforward, but it will give you a sense for what having an account on LinkedIn means, and what it gives you the ability to do and what it does not. When you're ready, you just click Create an Account. You will receive an email and need to confirm your email account, and then once you have done that, you will be able to log into your brand new MeaningCloud account. So while you're doing that, I'm going to go back up here and log into my new account. And here we are. Once you have confirmed your email, you've logged in, you will come to this this dashboard, and I'll just kind of walk you through what's going on here. To the left, you'll see your account information and where you can enter your payment details if you decide at some point, or if you outgrow the free account, you can enter your information there and pay with a credit card. But we're not going to do that today. You can go ahead and use the free account all you would like without doing that. There are some limitations, so I'm going to pull up what the free account has. So here we go. Let's start at the top. We get 20,000 requests per month. So what is a request? We have regular API calls, and we have premium API calls. On a regular API call, a request is sending a packet of 500 words to the API and getting back the response from the API. That is one request. If I send 1,000 words, that is 2 requests. On the premium APIs, things like deep categorization, that is 125 words that constitutes a credit in the system. So as a free account holder, you have 20,000 of these credits. You can do up to 2 requests per second, so it is throttled as a free account. You look at, you have access to all the APIs, so you have the public and the premium APIs. You have access to the various customization tools. You do have some limitations. So on the classification, dictionary, sentiment, deep categorization, you have some limitations. Each you can only have one model, whereas on some of the larger accounts, some of the paid accounts, you can have multiple models that you're working with. With the classification model, you can have up to 10 categories. With the dictionaries, you can have up to 100 entries. Sentiment can have 30 entries, and deep categorization can have up to 10 categories. And these are all your customized things that you do within the system. We're not going to dive into that today. We're going to just use MeaningCloud right out of the box through one of its integrations. So you look at the MeaningCloud integrations, and you do, as a free customer, have access to that as well. And so let me go back out to the home page and just give you a glance at what some of the other levels are. So as you grow and as you get more advanced in what you're doing, or you're working more with larger volumes of information, we have a startup package, a professional package, and a business package. The enterprise is more of an engagement where I will meet with you and we'll kind of talk through your use case, and we'll decide on what the right deployment and what the right strategy is for that. It may involve some professional services and other things. So the enterprise level is a kind of a different ball game. Sometimes that is actually on premises as well as delivered through SaaS. So there's a lot of ways that you can do business with MeaningCloud. And but for today, we are going to start with the free account. And then we'll go back to the home page again and kind of look through the center. There's some promotional information, some information directed at developers, some information about our premium APIs, and some information about your resources. So as you add things to the system, and we'll go over this later, things like classification models, dictionaries, deep categorization models, sentiment models, all those will be available for your view there. If you look at the packs, I would recommend that we start out just kind of learning the base MeaningCloud, and then when you're ready, each one of these vertical packs, whether it's voice of the customer, voice of the employee, emotion recognition, the financial industry, attention, all of those vertical packs have some kind of free trial associated with them. So you can, once you get your kind of sea legs on you and are using the system regularly, then you can add those packs and see how they work for your needs. On the right-hand side, this is sort of the fuel tank, and it lets you know how many of those credits that you have consumed so far in this period. So each month you get the 20,000 credits. Here you can see I've consumed 115 credits since April 18th, which is today. So I've logged in a couple of times before we started this. And then there's some details that you can pull up that give you a sense for, again, here are the resources you have on file. You have so many dictionaries, so many classification models, sentiment, deep categorization, and you have the number of calls that you're making to the system. So let me go back again to the home page, and we will see, okay, down here we have some kind of news, and you'll see that as we add more things to the system and we allow for, we try to communicate that out, we have new integrations, etc. Those things get pushed to the feed here in the system. Or you can just visit the blog. We had some really big news this past week with our multilingual text analytics. So we now support 57 languages with most of the functionality, and there's a complete list of languages here. It's an interesting approach where we have our standard languages, English, Spanish, French, Italian, etc., that we support natively in the system. And then we have translated languages that we support through translation. So we translate from the native language to English and then run the processes on those systems. So these are all the languages that we translate to English and then run the models on those in English. So it gets you back the results that you need, and depending on what we're talking about, finding very, very strong results in this approach, and it very quickly moved something that was language specific with Portuguese and Italian and French and Spanish and English and Catalan. It created a situation where now we can expand out and we can serve many, many additional markets, which is quite exciting. All right, we'll go back here, and we'll look at the APIs themselves. So this is a page where I spend quite a bit of time, and we won't go really, really deep in it today because we're just going over the basics. But you can kind of play with all of the various APIs without leaving the comfort of the MeaningCloud website. And for example, here we go, topic extraction. You have the documentation that tells you what topic extraction is, gives you some examples, shows you the requests and what you can do in the API call itself. So that would be more, what a developer would do as they're programming to call out to the MeaningCloud system, and then what the developer would expect back as far as a response to that call. But what I like to see here is really the test console. So as a user of the system, the test console allows me to perform API calls through a graphical interface, which puts me in the game. I don't need to call out to the developers to do something in order to try and experiment with some items. So if I pull up, let's say I'll pull up my blog in the system, and for experience, I'll just pull up a recent post that I've done, and I'll just do copy and paste. So I'm kind of go down, and I'm going to copy the text from this post, and I'm going to drop that text into the text field here. I could also add a URL, or I could upload a file for analysis into the system. So I'm going to look at the operating parameters here, and here you can choose which topics to try and detect and other settings, but I'm just going to keep it pretty much out of the box, and you can choose whether you want raw or formatted data in return. I'll choose formatted, but if you want to see just the JSON, you could have chosen the raw data. So now you can see that you have the topic extractions from my article on the site, and you have various topics: Dakota Access Pipeline, Rainforest Action, Global Banks, JP Morgan and Chase. So some really good topical tags, and oftentimes what I'll do is I'll run a blog post here and then use this to determine which tags to put on the post. So that gives you an idea of how you can interact with the various APIs. So you can do this with all of the APIs, read the documentation, hit the test, and go into the interface, the test console, and be able to execute. And there's little information about each one of the settings. So if you run into something that you're not sure what it does, then you can click on that and look a little bit further into it. So now let's pop back out here to the main page of our account. So that was the APIs button. I'm going to go back over. Again, we have access to the blog here. We have help, support, where you can insert a ticket if you run into problems. Various documentation on the APIs, the integrations, the customization packs. So you can really dig deep if that's the way you learn. And you can look at the customization of the models. So here, for example, there's classification models. And if I want to, let me just say I want to add to the example model. and do a new model. And remember, my free account only allows for one. Okay, I did spaces. I apologize for that. So we'll call this new model. And here you can see you have a classification schema with various food types. So this is just a sample that we have created for you. It tells you how much sample or how much training text there is, how many terms are in the system to support the categorization. And I'm not going to dive really deeply into this today because we're going to do a whole special piece on categorization. But I'll pull up Mexican food. For example, you have a category heading. You can add category parents, as it can be hierarchical in nature. Our IAB classification, for example, goes 3 layers deep. So there's definitely room for that. And then you've got a couple of things here. So I can say mandatory terms. So these are terms that have to be in the document in order for it to qualify as being part of this category. Maybe you feel very strongly that if it doesn't say salsa, it's not Mexican food. So you can put salsa in there, but then the only documents that would come up as Mexican food are those who have the word salsa. Excluding means if it has this particular word, it is not part of this category. So maybe for Mexican food, that might be pasta. And so if it says pasta, it's probably not Mexican food. So these are hard, fast, binary, absolute rules. So you want to be using those a little bit sparingly because they might really affect the model. Then you have relevant words. So if it mentions Mexican food, Mexican style, or tortilla, the odds are that it's probably leaning a little bit more towards Mexican food. So these are terms that boost the relevancy of this particular document or this particular review or whatnot for this particular category. And if it says Spanish tortilla, it's probably not. Maybe it leans a little less, more away from Mexican food and more towards Spanish cuisine. Then on the bottom here, you'll see training text. So to build out a general rule of thumb is maybe anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 words. And these are words that are strung together that reflect elements of documents that would make it more relevant to Mexican food. So these are not training documents in the sense that I'm going to throw 100 different documents into it. I may throw 100 different paragraphs from 100 different documents into it. And those paragraphs must be rich with things that make it about Mexican food. And that becomes a training text model for the categorization engine. And then once you've made your changes to this, you can hit save. And if you remember from when we walked through the various accounts, it allowed you as a free customer of MeaningCloud, you can have one classification model, and that one classification model can have up to, pull this up again, free plan. That one classification model can have up to 10 categories within it. So you can use your customization there, and then once you have your customization, I'll look through here and it'll say I have one classification model created in the system. But we will dive much deeper into that and into the deep categorization, into the benefit of adding a dictionary, into tuning the sentiment models in the system. All those things will be probably separate discussions once you've established yourself and created your account. So I'll end here, kind of where we're going to focus the rest of our time today is going to be on the integrations with the various systems. So you'll see that we integrate with native Excel for Windows. We integrate with Data IQ and RapidMiner and Google Sheets. So those are all systems that you can load MeaningCloud and then execute from the API in MeaningCloud directly from the system. And then Zapier is another one where you can integrate with several different systems. It connects one system to another. But for today's exercise, we are going to look at MeaningCloud for Excel. And if you click for Excel 365 or for Office 365. So right here from your Integrations tab, you can click on Excel 365. And you will be able to run this directly from the cloud-based services for Excel. And you will be able to run the APIs listed here: the text classification, the sentiment analysis, topic extraction, language identification, text clustering, categorization, etc. And you will have access to all of your customizations that you have done in the system as well. So when you're ready to go, and you have on that and get to the Microsoft App Store, and just click Get It Now. You accept, give Microsoft permission, hit Continue. Takes it to Microsoft 365 directly from the App Center. Okay, let's deploy a new app into the system. I hit Next. And I am an admin. It's my own Office system, so I'm just going to make it available for everyone. And then hit Deploy. And it will deploy the app right into my Office 365. It's really that easy. So it's going to take just a couple of minutes to load that system. And my add-in has been deployed. So I'm going to just pull up Excel on the web, and we'll say Continue. And you will see that MeaningCloud has now been deployed, and you'll see a tab across here at the top of it says MeaningCloud. But let me open a different file. So I'm going to open a file here that has some data in it. And this is actually a file of tweets, airline-related tweets that have been collected. So we have like Virgin America here, and we have United, and if you go to lots of United. Let's go all the way down. I believe there's some other ones. So there's quite a bit of data here. I thought we could just show you a little bit about how to execute the API calls from Excel. So again, you have a MeaningCloud tab, and you'll see here are the functions that we talked about. So you have classify text, analyze sentiment, identify language, extract topics, cluster text, and categorize. You also have About Us, and you have Settings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click on Settings. And we're going to want to go back to our home page, click on our license key and copy that, and then go into, we'll go into the settings here, and we will paste, make sure we got the right license key. So you can find cells, and we're going to save the configuration. Once that is saved, then you are ready to go. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour. We're going to focus mainly on having gotten you set up. so that you can get in here and play around with it, and then we'll have sessions on each of the tasks moving forward. But I'm going to pull these up just so you can get a sense for them. So here we have classifying text, and when you click on one of the functions, you will see that you have general settings and you have advanced settings. So I will do here, I will select a range of cells that I want to do something, and you can have active range. I can also choose a very specific range of text to run the analysis on. If it contains headers, if I want to specify an ID. And then here you have the analysis settings. So for this I want to choose English, and I want to choose a model. Now, if you remember correctly, we have a couple of pre-existing models, but that model that we created as part of our kind of walkthrough, our tour of the MeaningCloud site, is available right here within Excel. We didn't think it through very much, we didn't build out a lot of categories, but you can see that it is immediately available for use. So I can click my custom model, and then I can click Analyze, and it will categorize the document. I can also look at sentiment, I can identify language, I can extract topics, and I can cluster documents together, or categorize, basically deep categorize the textual data, and this is where you'll have like the IAB categories that come right out of the box with the system. But for demo purposes, I am going to just really quickly do some sentiment analysis. So I'm just selecting a very small amount of these tweets for Virgin America. I'm going to choose the active range, so that's the ones that I have selected. I'm not going to worry about headers or IDs. On the analysis settings, I'm going to do English, and with the model, just a general English model, and no user dictionary. But here is where I could have a tuned sentiment model very specific to my needs. I could use a dictionary like a product catalog, product dictionary, so that you can have topics that are associated with the various sentiment. I'm going to go into my advanced settings, and I have two options. I can do general sentiment, which I will do first, or I can do topics, or I can do both. If I do both, it will create two new tabs. If I just do document, it will create one new tab, and I hit Analyze. So document tweets are relatively small, but you can see here that generally speaking, well, looks like we're about 50-50, positive and negative in the tweet structure. The P plus is more strongly positive, and the N plus is more strongly negative. If I were to look at some of these tweets, you know, here we have Virgin America, it's aggressive to blast obnoxious entertainment in your guests' faces. They have little recourse. So that is not a very happy person. But here we have what would be amazingly awesome is that I only want to fly with only you. So that obviously is very strongly positive in nature. So you can get some very specific polarity around the document itself. It will also tell you if it is sensing that the comment itself is ironic in nature. A lot of times people will tweet out something that uses positive words, but is really meant to be a jab, so it will be negative. So we're going to go back out to our account dashboard page. And that'll be all for today. So we have created our MeaningCloud account. We understand what is available with the free plan, and we have loaded our integration with Office 365. So until next time, I appreciate you taking this time with me, and trust me, these will get better. Just kind of getting my feet underneath me as far as screencasting. So I hope this was enjoyable and informative, but thank you very, very much, and I will see you next time.